It was the moment from Tuesday's debate that ended up being the photo on the front of nearly every national newspaper, when Mitt Romney actually put his hand on Rick Perry during a heated exchange over immigration. Let's take a look again.
Rick, I don't think I've ever hired an illegal in my life. And so I'm afraid I'm looking forward to finding your facts on that, because that just doesn't.
I'll tell you what the facts are.
Rick, again,
you had the
Rick, I'm speaking.
I'm speaking. The newspaper.
I'm speaking.
Time for you to tell the truth.
You get 30 seconds.
Time for you
this
to
is
tell
the way the rules
truth,
work here is that I get 60 seconds.
Well, no, but the American
and then you get 30 seconds to respond, right?
And they want
Anderson.
To hear.
Oh, Anderson, help me. Anyway, the Washington Post Ann Gerhardt today said Romney violated what she called the unwritten rules of debate. No hands. She writes, the debate stage has its own set of rigid rules of engagement, the most important being keep your hands to yourself. You can shake hands before and clap a rival on the back after, and even kiss Representative Michelle Bachmann on the cheek, but never, ever make a move on the other guy. And this is because history seems to favor the candidate whose space is invaded. MSNBC political analyst Alex Wagner and political commentator and author Ron Reagan join me now to examine this and other moments of physicality when invading personal space has turned awkward in the debate stage. Ron, I have seen it before. Look, Mom, no hands. That's the right way to do a debate. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's true that generally speaking, you don't want to reach out and touch anybody in one of these debates. I have to say, though, in watching that clip, and I've watched it several times now, and just again a moment ago, it seemed pretty natural on Romney's part. He hadn't planned to do that. Lots of us reach out and touch somebody when we're right next to him, we're talking to him. We want to make a point. You put a hand on a shoulder briefly or something like that. It's not what you do so much as how you do it, I think. And I think in this exchange, and we can get into this a little more later, I think Romney actually came off better, despite his whining for Anderson to bail him out and all of that. But he actually came off better because he didn't seem like the angry guy. Yeah. Perry looked like he wanted to take a swing at Romney, and that does not play well on TV.
It was a little bit like Rocky yelling, Adrian! Anyway, just a thought. One of my favorite moments. Erotica and Dog Day Afternoon. Let me get this straight. Physicality. He does reach across the line. He moved in he didn't just reach out. He went at him and put his hand up there. Yeah. I think it was a clinch. I think he was saying, shut up.
Of course, yeah, he wanted Perry to stop interrupting him. But keep in mind, Chris, this is at the beginning of a litany of condescending things that Mitt Romney did and said to Rick Perry. I mean, remember after the hand on the shoulder, it's, if you want to be president of the United States, you got to let people talk. I know you've had a rough couple of debates. I mean, I am surprised that Rick Perry didn't reach right back out and slap him. I mean, this was really antagonistic.
What he really meant was, I'm an aristocratic Ivy League country club guy, and you've had a rough life. Let's take a look at one of the most awkward debate moments ever. This is from the third presidential debate between Al Gore and George W. Bush back in 2000.
Governor Bush, you may answer that if you'd like, but also I'd like to know how you see the differences between the two of you, and we need to move on.
Well, the difference is that I can get it done. That I can get something positive done on behalf of the people. That's what the question in this campaign is about. It's not only what's your philosophy and what's your position on issues, but can you get things done? And I believe I can.
All right. What about the Dingell-Norwood bill?
Yeah, Ron Reagan, what about the Dingell-Norwood bill? I was wanting to bring that one up. When he came up there, I don't know whether this is the invasion of the body snatchers or what. This guy comes up, all of a sudden he walks right up to Bush, and then Bush gives him that. I mean, maybe it's the smartest thing Bush ever did besides putting his arm around that firefighter on the Friday after 9/11. What a moment. He looked down at the guy and says, I can't use the word, what a D-bag. What kind of a guy are you? I mean, that look he gave the guy was so, here it is. It was so good. It was so good.
That moment didn't work for Gore because it looked contrived. It looks like he was trying to goad Bush into some overreaction there by walking up to him like that. And it was like, what are you doing, Al? But again, the Romney thing just seemed like a natural thing to do, physically to somebody who's interrupting you.
Okay, I want to give you another one. Here's a male-female one. Here's a moment when many people saw Rick Lazio give up any hope of beating Hillary Clinton in the Senate race by just again going into her space. A little too close.
Ms. Clinton, you want to respond? Well, yes, I certainly do. You know, I admire that. That was a wonderful performance, and
well, why don't you sign it?
And you did it very well.
I'm not asking you to admire it. I'm asking you to sign it.
Well, I would be happy to when you give me the signed letters.
Right here.
Would you give me?
Right here. Sign it right now.
Well, we'll shake on this.
No, I want your signature because I think that everybody wants to see you signing something that you said you were for. I'm for it. I haven't done it. You've been violating it. Why don't you stand up and do something important for America? While America is looking at New York, why don't you show some leadership? Because it goes to trust and character.
And this new radio ad from the Republican Party using soft money is not part of your campaign?
He looked like a process server there.
I mean, it was such a gimmick. It's like Rick Blasio fail. That is not okay. And clearly,
okay, male, female. Can a guy have to exercise particular restraint in entering her space?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think it's almost oxymoronic. Women in politics are held to a different standard. They're scrutinized on the level of haircuts, emotive qualities. But you get on stage and you have an aggressive attitude towards a woman. I don't think the American audience appreciates or likes that or thinks highly of that kind of behavior.
Ron Reagan.
Yeah, that just absolutely doesn't read well, as it wouldn't in life. If two men are out on the street and one's poking his finger into the other man's chest, that reads a certain way. If one of those people is a woman and a man is poking his finger into the woman's chest, that reads an entirely different way, and it doesn't play well again
assault.
on TV or anywhere else. Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, Nixon used to be a specialist. He'd go up when the cameras were on, and he'd walk up to Jack Kennedy and put his finger in and say, "You were really good in that Ohio setting out there. You really did a good job." And Kennedy said, "What are you doing here? Getting a picture taken." Thank you, Alex Wagner. We all sort of agree. Ron Reagan, you're always right.